himself out a little bit. But Ormanski is going to be left wanting 11 flat at 112. A 260 for the Nuggets is investigating your best PT. You probably want to knock at least, let's just say 6/10 of a second off of that realistically, maybe a little bit more. We still have a few vehicles that are down there waiting for their shot at the racetrack. Once again, lanes 1 and 2, left side of the racetrack, lanes 1 and 2, we will take you.
Are they done for
Hey, so I got to forget about that there. That's why I keep myself a timeline so I can make sure that we go back to something because I'm like, don't.
Right.
So on the advisory meeting, if you're running any of the 3 classes that we have talked about, that will be at 12 noon at the TT booth located at the top of the staging lane. Cool thing about the 3 classes, should be a pretty solid field in each one. I've already seen some pretty stout rides getting up road this morning, so everything going on full intense road tree.
1 hour later.
In this community, you want to make sure people understand that you're not just there to support this, but you bring a truck packed full of parts. There's a place for everybody there. You don't have to necessarily have a fast car or truck. As long as you're getting out there creating the memories and having a good time doing it while you get to see some of our great country, and in some cases there's a lot of drag and drives outside the United States. There's 3 in Canada this year, there's 4 in Australia, and 2 going to be at Rocky Mountain, or Mega Week as he's calling it this year. I'm not quite sure how we're going to schedule the two-time session a day thing. 600 plus cars showing up for this thing, but lots of it's definitely growing like crazy. And you mentioned you don't have to have a fast truck or car. I definitely don't have a fast truck or car. I'm enough to be dangerous, but I get there and have a good time. One thing about Drag and Drive is the brotherhood of this. When I did my first one back in 21, the first thing I noticed was anybody will give up their last part. They just want to see you finish. And the second thing was, how can I help these guys finish? And that's why we got involved with Motor Trend and then other entities too that put these things on to come out here. Yeah, we're going to make some money. Not gonna lie, I got to come to truck and trailer. At that point, he just wants to get back to that. And if I have the ability to help him do that, that's a great thing for my company. No, I couldn't agree more. Watching the Gear Jam and 55 T-Bird go 1269 at 111, 1116 at 127 for the pickup. The first drag and drive that I did as an employee for Tom, full time. When we mentioned Tom, I say Tom Bailey from SIGNA Magazine. Friends of mine actually went out and did it. They were about 50 miles away from getting back to Orlando where everything started, and their fuel pump died. This is a mid-8-second Mustang, so you can't just plug something else into it. So they put a board out on the SIGNA Mag group, started getting some interest of where they could pick one up, and it's 2-3 hours out. They had somebody pull up behind him, a guy named R.C. Flint, who's also done a bunch. This brand new, right out of his spares. It says, here, put it in there, see if this will work. They fired it up on the side of I-95, and they said, okay, well, what do you want to do? Like, we don't have that much cash on us, you know. And he goes, no problem. He goes, drive it to the next track, make your run, then let me know if you want to buy me a new one, if you want to take it out, give it back to me, whatever. He goes, I don't care. He goes, as long as you get to the finish line. Like you said, for 2 people that don't even know each other, even though they both live in Florida, but they had never met each other before, for somebody to do that, outside, in my opinion, of bracket racing, where we do see that kind of stuff happen as well, that is just considered so out of the picture for most people. It's like you come in, you stay in your lane, you make sure you have stuff to get you through the day. But I feel like us being able to participate in stuff like that, whether you're racing or, as you mentioned, a lot of places now have a drive the route, not necessarily race. Like we have Sick Ward, Rocky Mountain Race Week has Road Week. They have the drag pack stuff they do. See all these cars driving like, sorry to date myself, and you too, like we used to see 20, 30 years ago when people would actually drive these cars. And I understand completely why a lot people don't. Lots of people are distracted nowadays, and you're afraid of your car getting wadded. Yeah, no doubt. You know, the on-the-road camaraderie of this thing is what really attracted me to it as a competitor, but also the loyalness of the customer that we create out here, and that's why we're out here. You know, I want to help you with your future build. I want to help you with your current build. I want to get you out of a jam. That's what we do. You know, and that's why it's so important to us. And to kind of round this up, it's why it's important for us to be out here for Chuck, Rick, and Bob. They're serious drag and drive competitors. They drag raced everything you can think of. And the three cars, incredible. The fact that they drive them the sometimes 1,000 miles in a drag and drive event and stay competitive the whole time. You know, it's a testament to what they build here. And for them to have a shop on the property here is just phenomenal. Come out here, get your junk tuned. Hey, you want to make a pass and test it out? Let's make that happen. You know, there's not many shops, if any, in the country that can offer that. No, absolutely. And I've already kept you too long. I know you got to get back and take care of making sure that the bills get paid, as you mentioned. But folks, please make sure you go over and visit Summit, the big Summit white truck located on the left side of the racetrack at the top of the staging lanes. Go and say hi to Tommy and his crew. Make sure you tell them thanks for coming out here and supporting drag racing as much as Summit does. It is great to see them supporting a ton of events. I look forward to seeing you at the next one where you're actually going to be able to compete, although I have a feeling that you're probably going to feel guilty and want to go buy the truck every now and then when you're not actually making a pass. Well, that might happen. I got to check up with my boys, but they do a good job. The crew I got, Alan, Kevin, Michael here, Russ is running around the pits. You know, they do a fantastic job, so I don't have to worry as much. I'll make sure they're okay, make sure my guys are taken care of, but number one, I'm there to compete. I'm going to let Tommy Dupree get back out of the tower and not have to endure Mike and I longer than he has to. So, but Tommy Dupree, thanks for coming up and joining us, and thanks for being here as part of the resurrection. We'll get back to action here with the Lexus and the Chevy pickup truck on the starting line here as we clear the top end. Pickup truck left-hand side, pickup trucks are cool. I don't care what you say. That's my favorite vehicle at a racetrack. Any of them. As we're doing a little bit of housekeeping here, we've got test and tune going on until the if you want to come on down to lane 6. Junior dragsters to lane 6. Again, junior dragsters. I guess we have a couple of them on the property. If you are ready for your test and tune passes, please go to lane 6. Come on, left-hand lane, we're going to have a no-time car. No-time. Clocks are going to be off. I am not going to announce how fast he goes. But again, junior dragsters, come on down to lane number 6. And racers, if you have not done so, please sign up for your classes. If you're on one of our 3 classes today, please go and sign up for your classes. When you go we're about 15 minutes away from your driver's meeting at the D-Team booth, Triple Twitter 10. 15 minutes until the driver's meeting at the top of the hill. Getting the single lined up on the left-hand side, working towards the starting line. I want to see him hook up and go A to B. A little popping and banging down through there, but that is one heck of a pass. side. Oh, it's got a big old blower on it, left-hand side. That might be a Godzilla in that Supra. Get back into it, going 61 and 123 miles an hour. Right hand side, Corey went 664 at 121 as well. Just a reminder, as we have a little bit of downtime here, only official track and media photographers past the cones there on the starting line. Please, if you're not one of the approved photographers for this event, stay behind the starting line. Hey, here's a reminder for lane assignments for you guys that are rolling down into the lanes right now. Lanes 1 and 2 for test and tune. Lanes 1 and 2. I've got some cars in 3 and 4. That is not 1 and 2. Please go to lanes 1 and 2, please, for your test and tune hits. Again, if you're a junior dragster on the property and you are ready to make a couple of test hits, go down to lane 6. And we've got probably about 10 minutes, 10-15. Before the drivers meeting at the D-Team booth. Oh, it's not a Godzilla, it's a Elephant. That's what he does. Elephant Supra. It is scrap light. Elephant in the Supra there, going down the track, man. That was awesome to see. That makes sense considering all the movement.
What is it? Elephant.
It's a live, okay.
Here's a reminder, we were just told up here in the tower there is going to be no quote-unquote special treatment for anything in test and tune. If you are in test and tune lanes, boards will be on, and we are going to run 4/10 rotary for everything. Everything is set up for quarter mile in the test and tune lanes. If you are running 8 mile, obviously it's not going to show your 8 mile time. But please remember the test and tune cars come down lanes 1 and 2. I see that we're doing a little bit of jockeying down there now, which is good. Hey, guy on the starting line, that's not your job. Back up, please. Back out of the water.
Can he actually hear you?
No, he can't hear me, but the crew guy might be able to, who definitely is not our head of staging, that's telling people where to go.
Oh, okay.
Please wait for the head of staging to tell you where you need to go, as we are doing a little bit of track maintenance at the moment. Mike, as soon as I heard the Supra that did not sound like a 2J, and it did not sound like an LS. And my first thought, just based on the fact that it had a whole lot of plenum coming up out of the engine bay, my first thought was Godzilla, because I had heard about somebody actually building a Toyota Supra with a Godzilla engine in it. Well, it turned out that I was incorrect, and you got the details, and then it triggered something in my head, squirrel. And that is actually the car out of the Scrap Life Lee YouTube channel. So it's a Supra that he had sold a decade ago. He buys it back, and then he builds a 7-liter Elephant motor for it. And the latest video that he has out, that was put out 8 days ago, has them doing the final touches to it, but I don't see anything with drag racing in it. So I wonder if this could possibly be one of the first times the car's gone down the racetrack. But either way, it didn't look like it did it as cleanly as you wanted it to, but it wasn't horrible. It was just one of those things where anytime you put a new combo together, you're going to have some time to get it all situated and sorted out. Speaking of situated, sorted out, it looks like the starting line is almost to that point. Once again, drivers, if you are ready to come to the lanes, we will take you. Staging lanes 1 and 2 are open, left side of the racetrack. Staging lanes 1 and 2, again, please come to the lanes. Other than an air pressure adjustment and your safety gear, please come to the lanes ready to go. You can see the Deal brothers are down there, and we're ready to go, but Nick probably came up with something, and they're going to change some things. Either that, or he's going to explain some things to Harley, his newest full-time employee, who I have a feeling when they hired him, he was probably not 100% capacitation. More than likely, they took advantage of him in either a drunken moment, or he was excited, or they offered him like a meal when he was starving, and they just slipped the work thing in there, or whatever. But Deal brothers come in here on very little sleep, so normal for them. And Harley's like, yep, pretty much. Yeah, Harley, when he first worked for these guys, it was at Sig Week, and I think Harley could count how many hours of sleep he got on 2 hands. He didn't even have to take his shoes off or put his fly down to count how many hours of sleep he got all week. Then a couple of spots over from them, to me, I might be wrong here, but I believe that is Brian Goldstone's Corvette. And if it is, that is a car that has actually finished almost 1,500 miles of Route 66 on 666 that we did in October of last year. He did give me Harley's like doing something over there to him. He looked like he was trying to dunk on him or something almost. Harley, you are way too enthusiastic to work for the Deals, and they will fix that over time. So we're going to lay down some fresh traction compound right-hand side of the racetrack. It looks like we're getting a little bit closer to being back underway. Mike Kostick up here has pretty much done everything except stand on his head. I mean, like, he's done a little bit of everything. He's interacting with the employees. Obviously, this is your, as you mentioned, your regular digs. And this is my first time at Dragway 42. The fact that they used to run the opposite direction down this racetrack is interesting. It explains, in my opinion, the dual turnoffs, if that was what they were being used for, unless they weren't here before then. They weren't?
No, this is a completely new track. This track did not exist. When the Matchums bought it, they completely tore up everything that was here, dug the track into the ground, as you can see the hills on both sides, and built a completely new surface. I believe it's turned a couple of degrees, and it ran the opposite direction. But this is completely new to the Matchum ownership. What you can see, everything here is brand new build, which is obviously awesome. It was a huge undertaking. As Ron likes to say, there's a couple of cars buried into the concrete here. He had a big car collection that ended up getting sold to fund the build of this.
But pause that for a minute, because I do want to hear about this. But first of all, so you're telling me racers told me a lie? You're telling me the racers lied to me? Okay. Shocking. Did you say we're ready to go again? Okay, while we don't have anything going down the racetrack, racers, listen up. We are 4 minutes away from the drivers' meeting for the classes. That's at 12 o'clock at the D-Team booth. And Rick Trunken just told me There are 5 cars in True Street with $7,000 going to the winner, and they only have 5 cars. So if you have a car that can survive in True Street, you need to enter. They will pay back to the semis, which means you win 1 round and you're going to get paid. Dude, yeah, Mike literally looks like he wants to find somebody's car to race.
I'm gonna go down there and get my street truck that I drive to work every single day.
Bye, Mike. They said he was on loan, basically. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the driver's meeting will happen in just a few minutes at the D-Team 10 at the top of the staging lanes 1 and 2 left side. So again, if you have not entered the True Street class, you need to do so. They're going to pay $7 grand to win in that puppy. We would like to see some more entrants. Fox Mustang comes up right-hand side. Brian Goldstone in the C7 Corvette left side. Goldstone on his way to a low 10.7 time slip. He'll get 10.14 at 135 out of the Corvette, 10.15 at 113 for the Mustang. Both of them making pretty solid laps there. And that'll bring up the Deal Brothers alongside a pretty clean-looking Chevy Vega. 945, left side has some problems. Then it goes to a 1044 pass. I almost had to do a double take and think that was Rick Trunkett's Duster down there, but it's the wrong color. Very clean looking though. Probably around the same year, 1970 for Doug Visor's Ohio-based Duster. Although it's kind of gold now that I'm looking at it. It's not green, but it's definitely it looks like a Mopar color that you would see against the C10 Chevy pickup truck left side. And 123 for Doug's Duster. 1217, 116 for the pickup truck. Once again, drivers, if you have not made your way to the D-Team booth, if you are running one of the 3 classes, you should be there. If not, you're about 5 minutes late. By the way, if you are not in the True Street class, what's wrong with you? I'm literally ready to go borrow somebody's car. Actually, I think that Caustic might actually beat me to that. I don't think my Tacoma is going to have a good chance of winning first round, but I can put it 4 high and I might be able to get there.
They can brake.
That's true, they could. They can spin the tires.
I've seen Cadillac Sean go multiple rounds in Radio vs. the World. So
yeah, I've been to a 6-shift class once where the number one pole was in the 70s and your last qualifier was like 950 and the last qualifier ended up winning it just by breakage. Troy Lee's beautiful 66 model Impala. Gentlemen, I just got an offer that is almost too good to pass up. Chuck Stefanski from B3 Racing said, the wife's car is here, you can buy it, and then get into the True Street program for $7,000 to win. I don't know, man. Chuck, you might want to go ahead and warm it up, and I'll see if I can find a fire suit. We can take it out of my pay.
it'll be at Summit.
Yeah, he actually said it's in the car show area right there. I think it's one of the first cars in the row in the car show area right up against the hill. One of the quickest cars on the property coming back around, the Acura.
What's that blue?
Brett Bunyan out of Canton, Ohio. It's an RSX edition Acura Integra. My apologies, sir. I want to make sure we give you the full credit. This thing has already been in the mid-80s. One of the quicker stick-shift rides I've seen so far. Right on the side stop. That is exactly what a race car should be doing if they have problems. 939 and 137 for Craig as he makes the full pull in the blue Mustang. But Brett, I'm hoping that is not terminal, but we do appreciate it. Racers, take a page out of what Bunyan just did right there. If you have any problems during the run, as soon as you possibly can, pull over by the wall and shut it off. If there are parts, pieces, or fluid coming out of the vehicle, it'll contain the cleanup, and it'll allow us to get back underway quicker. So, Brett, we appreciate you pulling over to the side. Hopefully, it is not terminal. We'll see that Acura back in action here in just a little bit. So looking around the pit area, there are some cars, as I mentioned to Mike Kostick earlier, that I have seen here that are familiar. One of the guys that I know has run the stick shift category in the past, Tim Casto. I've seen him earlier this year. He already has a photo up of him rolling in on Facebook. So if you're attending the resurrection, go ahead and tag him so we can see who's here. Because I know some of the people, we still have not gotten tech cards from them yet, so I apologize if we're calling not on file. It's not because I don't like you. Or it's not because Mike doesn't like... Well, actually, I can't speak for Mike. I don't want to do that. We just met each other. If Mike doesn't like you, you may not hear him call your name. If I don't call your name, it's because there's nothing on the screen. Now, if I butcher your name, it is not an added bonus of me being here. It is just... Drag racers have bad handwriting. Shut the front door. Next thing you know, that they can actually graduate and they can become doctors. Because we know doctors have awesome handwriting. Ladies and gentlemen, the merch booth is open with Dragway 42 merchandise available. I have been told they have earplugs. You might want to go grab some right now, because Chuck Stefanski is in the lanes. And looks like we got a couple of serious rides coming. Is that, no, that looks like Troy's car, but it's not. Yes, and a Chevrolet Beretta coming up. Shooting video at the time for NMCA before I started announcing. Kevin Diassi, who some of you may recognize the name, he has done photographs for a lot of publications as well as brands and manufacturers. He does a great job. Well, Kevin is standing on the wall with me and we both see a Gatorade cap sitting on the racetrack. I tell him, I said, I'll wave down one of the track guys as they come by on the tractor and let him pick it up. And he goes, don't worry, he goes, I'll hop out and get it. And it's like famous last words. Without even realizing that he was going to be front and center stage on the camera on the live feed, he walks out there and proceeds to lose both shoes, not cleanly either. I mean, there was a lot of hopping. And then he lost both socks too. And it was just, you watched it happen in slow motion like, no. But I just could not contain my laughter, and thankfully it was shared, and now we get to experience it when it comes up in Facebook memories every year.
Well, there was just a woman next to her. I've never met her, so.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. So I know some of you will be happy to hear this. The beer barn is open, and it's 5:30 somewhere. Just pick your favorite time zone to make it 5:30. Yeah, exactly. Change your watch, change your GPS, change your cell phone, whatever you need to do. It's 5:30 somewhere, and it's a beautiful day if you are not driving. I need to point that out because I am from Florida, and Florida man stuff does happen, no matter if you're living in Florida or not. But it's a good time to go get something good to drink, so go ahead and do so. And it'll make your decision to purchase some Dragway 42 merchandise even easier. I guarantee it. Now is also a good time while we have nothing going down the racetrack to go and grab yourself something good to eat or drink and visit all of the manufacturers that are on site. Again, we talked about Tommy Dupree and the good folks over at Summit Racing. They are located at the top of the hill right by where staging lanes 1 and 2 start. Stripper Glitter is also over there. I know HBT Turbos is also set up over there. Rick Trunkett needs to be getting me a list in addition to the 50 million other things he is doing.
Matt Zelenko could do it as well.
Is he on the payroll or no?
Matt's the big 3 racing photographer.
I'm sure he's not photographing anything right now. I mean, you know, there's nothing going down the racetrack, so he must be totally free. Matt, if you're down there and you're not busy, because Mike pretty much wheeled it into existence, just go ahead and get us that list, please. We want to make sure all of those manufacturers get their due, because they are out here.
Now, I wonder if that was his like next door property or if it's actually on.
I think it's on both property.
Oh, that's it.
Because their fence,
Ooh, it's right up.
their fence runs all the way down.
Okay.
But they have pink stakes out, so I think they bought a chunk of that section. See the pink and the yellow pack?
Some flags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the property.
So do you think they're just neighbors technically?
Yeah, they probably bought that.
Extended the fence.
Bought
But
it.
do you think that they own that in this like they're technically
I think this was all the other 42s, and then he just bought that.
off
straight.
of them? Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Little mouse.
Well, it could have been next year before they redid it. I could just be sitting.
I
But,
never knew it was on it.
yeah, I think this is all fairly.
They said they redid the tracks. I think maybe that might have been the old track.
Well, I thought maybe that was the old shit. They just moved it over. Could be.
There's bleachers and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't think there's a trap? Oh.
Oh, you know what? I got a couple of photos.
Yeah.
On the map, maybe it's this walking path. I was like, it looks like there's a rail track, but that it's like
Folks, remember, Mike Costick is running his live stream. We're looking at you right now. Please, jump on there. Let's get at least 3 people watching. We got 2 right now, and one of them is Mike.
I think maybe there might be a little bit of an issue with the Facebook
Hey,
algorithm.
the old bleachers they moved over
Yeah,
there.
that's what and that old grandstand thing used to probably be
Right.
that's like double that.
Yeah.
They got 2. Look at that door just floating up.
Yeah.
The top one.
Yeah.
Is there supposed to be a deck?
I'm not sure.
It looks like it's just shipping containers stacked up there. Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
I think
she was
so.
trying to figure out the doors to nowhere.
On top.
Well, you see the iron on the bottom sticks out further, so I think they're going to build a deck. But I don't know about the top.
The top one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Those are our boxes.
Yeah.
So how long will it be a warranty?
I don't know. I thought they were ready to start. No, that sounded expensive.
I don't see the ones that oil running out, so I don't think it blew up.
Transmission comes.
Yeah,
Oh, there's one.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, folks, so probably about 20 minutes will remain in this current session. So about 12:45, we will re-prep the racetrack. It's not like we're going to shut it down completely. Like I said, we will run test and tune until 8 o'clock tonight. However, this current session that we are about ready to fire back up, we will run for about another 20 minutes before they shut down the re-prep. As unfortunately we see Bunyan's Acura going the wrong direction. I'm hoping he can get it fixed, but it's not encouraging on the back of a flatbed. I'm going to guess some relation. John Bunyan was due to be next. All right, driver, sit back up, please. Driver, sit back up, please. Once again, the live stream is happening on Mike Kostick's Facebook. That's COSTIC. Hopefully we have more than 2 people now. I'm going to look and see. Yep, we're up to 3. All right, 33% more. I like it. And John Bunyan either is not lining up on this pair. Actually, no, he is. 69 Camaro. Looks like he's going to match up with the Mustang in the next one, so we will crank this one out. Right back in the boost numbers where they want it. At 117 on their way to a 956 at 125, getting out of the gas a little bit early. So we'll bring up a Mustang versus Camaro battle next. I believe that's John Bunyan left-hand side. In the blue and white 69 Chevy Camaro, and Greg Brown out of Perry, Ohio, stage up opposite end of the New Edge Mustang. In third and climbing towards the finish line, looking for something with a 9 on it. 145. Greg Brown had some time to think about it, make a sandwich, get the chips, and then make the pass. And he'll go 11:58 at 107.
If we can be loud, you want me to cover your ears? That'll bring up our next pair of cars, the 300T. Chrysler comes up right-hand side. The Chevy Verano left-hand side. It's the Corvette. Or Corvette. One or the other. I have a 50-50 shot of possibly getting it right. Could still be right. Well, I'm trying to bring the fancy here. Corvette sounds like gourmet, so that's why I'm trying to bring the fancy here. By the way, if you're hungry, that's all I can tell you. And I do believe that that is the quickest 8 miles so far of the day, 5:24 at 136. And I just need to wait a minute. Say it, go ahead and say it again.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that that record for 8 Mile ain't gonna last very long. But it was the quickest run record of today. The record of the day. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that might fall on this pass if this car in the right-hand side hooks up. That's Mike Martin. Mike Martin, a local here to Dragway 42. That is the Mona Lisa. Took a few years to build. That is the name on the front of the car. It is absolutely beautiful. If you get a chance, come on down. He's actually pitted down here under the tower on the right-hand side of the racetrack. guy that went over there. And you can take a close look at that. 8th mile goes 166 miles an hour. That is absolutely flying for the ET he went.
You would have hooked up.
When you have enough time to think about getting back in the throttle again and waiting for the turbos to rejoin the jet, you don't even touch 160 in the corner, let alone half the distance.
Excuse me, sir. Right-hand side, driving the four-wheeler. Hey, can you hear me? Guy on the four-wheeler, right-hand side. Please get off. Go to the other side of the fence. We are not going to send these cars. Sir on the four-wheeler, can you hear me? Give me a wave. Again, just as a reminder, you are not allowed to be inside the fence on a pit vehicle. Thank you for removing yourself from inside the fence. We are going to commence now. Right-hand side looks like a little Ford Ranger. Left-hand side goes 872, 116 miles an hour. To the 8th went 135, he was on the brakes. Right-hand side, 575 at 116. Vega. Corbin Jessup, right-hand side. I assume that's supposed to say Jerome. Yes, that is where all of the Jeromes are manufactured. I think that's probably supposed to say Nick Cole, or is it I Cole? Left-hand side in the Charger.
Yes.
A Pursuit.
The Pursuit version of... They can go 641 at 108 to half track. We'll go through to a 1084. And in Pursuit, the Charger goes 1381 at 100. That'll bring up the half-scale ride, the Junior Dragster. It's a great way to get your son or daughter to each nephew involved in the sport of NHRA drag racing, and they'll never have a savings account. Start at age 5 and work all the way up to age 17, and they can run for national championships and big trophies and big checks just like the Sports Center professionals do. It's a great way to get your family involved in the next generation of drag racing. Looks like we're going to do 2 singles for the juniors. This is the only full tree test tune session that we're going to have here. If you are missing your Jag tire pressure gauge, if you're missing your Jag tire pressure gauge, you would have the head of staging. I don't know whose it is, but it's not Tommy DeFreeze, because it has yellow and black on the inside. Junior in the right-hand lane, moving up towards the starting line. It looks like both of these cars are probably 790 juniors. Just an assumption. And 77 miles an hour to the 8th for the junior dragster.
You want to drive one of those?
Yeah, 009 is a great reaction time in the junior. Just, keep it on the right side of the trick. if I had to guess, I would say that the two juniors here today are siblings because the same crew members are working on both of them. And they came down on one golf cart. That junior goes 11:02 at 59 miles an hour right hand side, 41 up front.
Let me know if you do, okay?
And back to big cars we go. And back to Mustangs we go. Right hand side we're gonna have a C10 pickup truck. Left hand side is an 89 Mustang. It says 89. I don't think that's 89. I can look at the quarter wheel.
Some people cannot drive lately, and I just totally, I know, I'm a drag racer.
Jeff McCool, left hand side, not on file, and that's not because I don't like you in the pickup truck. Missed one. And pulls off to the side just as you should do. He was on a lick for sure. Right hand side pickup truck runs it to the quarter mile, 11:52 at 119 miles an hour. And we are going to go down and check on the Mustang.
Now we're gonna have to wait. It takes a while.
Once again, racers, while we brought this up before, hate seeing it happen. Again, if you have problems on your run, you see smoke, you feel vibration, something is not right, as quickly and as safely as possible, pull over by the wall and stop. And by the way, there are two parts to that equation. Don't just pull over by the wall and keep rolling. Pull over and stop. Because if there is fluid coming out of your car, we still need to clean it up even if it's out of the groove. So hopefully McCool just missed a gear there. If we had instant replay on Mike's live feed, we would be able to see that that was a big old popper that came out. So he caught all of the two-step high side. So a bunch of quick rides sitting in the lanes ready for their shot to come out. We will have the Zumi-equipped, deafening Grand Le Mans wagon of Chuck Stefanski coming up in just a little bit. By the way, did you know, for those of you that
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
still got the stick shift in the tunnel? It's a 93 model notch. That's the last year they built the box body. Now, by the way, because I have been corrected on it, and yes, I'm aware of it, but I want to be 100% clear. When we say 1979 is the first year for the box platform, that is in the month. 1 year earlier when it was something. He might not have liked what he saw. And they're going to wait until Herman clears top end, and they'll wave him in to make a single shot. So yes, the Fox chassis platform debuted in 1978. By the way, you can use this as an icebreaker at your next party you go to, right? You have my permission. They originally used them in the Fairmont chassis, which would have included like the Grand Marquis and the LTD wagon and so forth. Now, it's not exactly the same as far as the ex-dirt road Stefanski in the loudest station wagon in the country. I don't know if that's 100% official or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. This thing has been 7 flat. He will take the parade lap. So Stefanski will come back around. More than likely we will see him either in exhibition form or he may jump into Turn Street. Alright, so folks, if you are in the staging range, you can play on Buffalo. It's going to take us a little bit of time while we touch up the racetrack here. And we're going to get ready for our next session. If you are running with Clemson, if you are running a little Clemson, we are going to sell you 2 different lanes because Essenton will continue to run out of lanes 1 and 2. So if you're running in stick shift towards Church Street, keep in mind we will pull you into different lanes going forward to keep lanes 1 and 2 open for Teslington for the remainder of the day today. So folks, you have yourself a little bit of time if you would like to go and visit the concession stand / as Mike said, the slop wagon. Grab yourself something good to eat or drink. If you want to go a couple steps down, you can grab yourself some Dragway.
Change my diaper!